Coach. So we're coming back from the annual Great Plains Athletic Conference Football Media Day in Sioux City, where you were able to be formally introduced to your coaching peers in the conference and the Tom Osborne National Championship Trophy in the room. What was that experience like, and how was the group, and how do you feel you were received?
Well, I was talking to my wife about it. I didn't know what to expect. I honestly had no idea how those guys were going to accept me into the conference, and as a coaching peer, being a younger guy and somebody that's new into the room, and obviously with Jamestown being that last year being the first year that they were in there, I wasn't too sure how I was going to be received, and I'll tell you what, it was awesome. Those guys were great dudes and great coaches, and I had great conversations with them, and I felt like I was a peer, and I think that was something that I was hoping for, and that's kind of what I got, and I was really grateful for that, and I respect the heck out of those guys. They've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and for the most part, it was kind of a humbling experience. Like, wow, I kind of feel big time.
That's awesome. Well, and coming off a 3-win season with a coaching change and things of that nature, wasn't an enormous surprise. You guys are ranked 10 out of 10 in both the media poll today and the coaches poll. Do you put much stock into things like that?
You listen to coaches talk about, polls are just polls. Well, I don't know, maybe I'm part of the different generation in that I pay attention to that stuff. I think it's important because I know all of our guys are going to look at that. But frankly, we haven't done anything in the GPAC yet, and I think that's not a bad thing. It's our first year into it, and our guys maybe didn't know what to expect or however it worked out for them last year, but guys, we're 10. So yeah, let's prove people wrong, and I think that there's no problem with using that as motivation. But again, I'm not mad. I think it's something that says, hey, this is where you're at. There's no lying. This is what other people think about you, and this is, if you want to change their mind, then you have to change their mind. And I have no problem acknowledging it, and I'm not one of those guys that's going to say, whatever. Like, no, it's a big deal, and I think it's important. It's important to our guys. It's important to our community. It's important to the alums, my friends that played with me. It's important to the community in general, and I think that I'm going to acknowledge it and say, yeah, we got picked 10th out of 10, guys. And if you want to be better, then do the little things right. Do the things that we're preaching to you every day. And if you forget what to do, just go back to what your coach told you to do the first time.
Well, outstanding. We know your background. You're coming from Concordia, assistant coach there, did some special teams work. You're former Jimmie, a former graduate, your alma mater. But it's your first time as a head coach. How are you settling in? How are you feeling?
When I finally had a chance to sit down this summer and think about it, I was drinking through a fire hose that first couple of weeks, and you get thrown right into the middle of recruiting or towards the end of recruiting, so you're trying to put together the best class that you can and the right type of fit for Jamestown, and I think our staff did an amazing job of bringing in the guys that we need to help compete in this league. And as I sit in the big chair and remember being in that office as a player and looking across the table at the head coach, it's kind of cool to be on that side, and I think it's something for me to really respect that position and respect the idea of being a head coach is important, and I'm not going to take it for granted. So it's awesome. It's something that I got to make sure that I'm making right decisions, but I'm going to use our staff and our players to help me to make those decisions. And it's not a one-man show. It's a small army, and I think that we have the right pieces in place to make this a better situation than it has been, and keep moving and progressing and going forward.
You've been roughly a week away from camp starting when things really get serious, but you did have 15 practices with the annual spring game here a few months back, so right. You are familiar with the kids and the group and some things, but we lost our 2 starting tackles on the old line. We've lost 5 starters on defense, but how did things go in the spring, and how do you think that will translate here in the fall, and what will you be looking for?
Well, obviously being a new coach, I'm different than how Coach Cattell was before, and not in the sense like our philosophies are just so crazily from one side to the other, but I'm more of I'm more of a positive energy. I'm more of a positive outlook on things, and as a team, we need to be better teammates. And I don't know if we were the greatest teammates, in the spring. And I think that one of the biggest messages that I had to our guys was, hey guys, we need to work together. Part of our job is to be good people and hold ourselves accountable to it. And I think one of the biggest parts of that is, the individual part of the game. Like, you play this position, but you're still playing this position as a part of a team. And for me, I don't want guys complaining about playing time. I don't want guys complaining about this or that or the other when it comes to them. I want guys that are rooting for their teammates and cheering their teammates on. I want guys helping each other up after a play because we're all fighting for the same goal. We all want to be the best that we can be in the situation that we're given. So keep doing that. And it goes into what kind of our motto's been. Like, chop and carry. Do your job. I don't care what your job is or what role you're in right now. If you keep doing your job and you do your job to the best of your ability that you possibly can, good things are going to happen for you. And I'm not the guy that looks back and complains on stuff. So I think if for the spring, part of my message to the guys, we had to get used to that. There's always going to be scuffles in practice when you're going against the same color jersey a lot, but I didn't want to see too much of it. Hey guys, we're on the same team. Like, you want to fight, go somewhere else. Like, start an MMA club. I don't care, but I don't want this during practice. You're wasting our time. And to be honest with you, we're trying to get better as a football team, and that, taking time away from that is not beneficial to us, so don't do it. And I think our guys started to learn that as time goes on, and we had leaders step up that I think, hey guys, we're all in this together. Let's keep moving. And I don't know, I had a positive energy from our spring game, so I was pretty positive outlook on that.
Without getting into too many specifics or details or things like that, because schemes and ideas can change between now and the start of the season. But we're coming up here on August 29th, heading over to Valley City to go after that paint bucket game again, which we beat them last year. But what are folks going to expect to see with a new coach and a new team, theoretically on the field?
Right. So for what I've seen from last year and watching film now and how the spring went, we were a young team last year, and the guys were, they're thrown in the fire, so to say, and we lost some guys, obviously, some big pieces, and I'm not going to denounce what, those guys meant to us, and especially you mentioned the tackles and our defensive players that we're losing, but, we got a lot of guys coming back that have played in college football games, and they need to take the next step to mature, to eliminate some of those things that hampered us. Bad snaps on special teams and offsides penalties and holding penalties and unsportsmanlike conduct stuff that doesn't happen to a mature and experienced vet. And I think we're going to have more of those guys. So, what I see coming forward, and when we go, over to Valley on the 29th, hopefully the fans can see that, hey, this is going to be tightened up. We're going to do things the right way, and I know I keep saying it, and it's cliche, but holy cow, if you keep doing it the right way, good things are going to happen. And I want our fans to know that we're going to do the best that we can to make sure that our kids are ready to go. And they're not even kids; these are young men. Like, they're going to be ready to go to the best that they can be. And if they're not, then it's our fault, and I'll take full blame for that. But as far as I'm concerned, I know our boys are jacked up, and the bucket is at our place. But selfishly, if I can be that way right now, I didn't win the bucket last year. I wasn't a part of that. So I want to make sure that we retain it. Like, I'd hate to be the guy that comes in and loses it. So, our team is going to be ready, and they know that it's just another game, and we're going to preach it as the rivalry and all that stuff. But it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you're not narrowed in your focus and you're not intense in what you're supposed to be doing, then you can really get too hyped up for a game, and you can be lackadaisical in a game. But if you treat every game like, this is my job on every play, doesn't matter who I'm going up against. If I do my job on this play, good things are going to happen. And I think if we do that on every play, the sky's the limit, right?
You bet. Well, if your enthusiasm is able to be translated out on the field, through your players, I think fans of the Orange and Black are going to be pretty happy with the product they see. So, I wish you guys nothing but the best starting on the 29th against Valley.
Hey, let's go, baby!